Hello, my name is Trina Thompson, and I'll be your guest lecturer this week in regards to behavior and discipline in the classroom. Just because a student is disabled does not mean they do not understand what right or wrong means or what rewards and consequences represent. I had a student, let's call him JT, and he had some of the most incredible behavior problems that I've encountered in students. And we had to work on a point system. So what we had in the classroom where we started off actually with smiley faces. So he received so many smiley faces per day. He got that sent home to his mother so she knew how his day went. And after the end of the week, if he received XYZ smiley faces, we'll say 15 smiley faces for the week, then he was able to receive something from the token box that would to be a pencil or eraser, something that he could use in the classroom, and that way he can feel that he earned that. Once he was able to understand what smiley faces meant, we went to a point system. The point system was even more advanced. So he had points given if he was good and points taken away if he was bad. That showed increased responsibility as well. So the point system, we will say, he was on 100 points per day, and he had to receive 80 points for that day in order to have a good day. Each class represented, say, 20 points, 20, 25 points, depending on how many classes he had that day, and then recess. And so recess was additional points, so he could actually get more than 100 points for that day if he did well in recess. Recess was one of his problems where he had a hard time interacting with other students. So it was really important for him to understand what that meant. But he was so proud of himself when he did get those rewards and when he did earn it, and he know that he earned it. He also would tell me, no, he didn't want points taken away because he knew that he was reacting in a bad way or in a rule or a manner that was not acceptable in the classroom. This is all based off of classroom rules. He understood what the rules were. He understood what infractions were. So that was great that he had the mental capacity to understand what those were. Having them established in the classroom was ideal. They were posted, and I believe it was 5 rules that was posted that included, being nice to your classmates, raise your hand before talking, be in your seat, do not disrupt, things along those lines. So they were not rules that were very convoluted or complicated by any means. I had another student, we'll call her Michelle. She really thrived on praises. The only thing with the praises, it needed to be specific to her. So you couldn't give her a general praise and saying good job or well done. You had to let her know, Michelle, you did a great job on your assignment that you turned in today. Or Michelle, I really appreciated your extra help that you gave in the classroom today. She was very good about being able to get those rewards and praises, and she felt that that's how she was able to be a contribution in the classroom. She also believed in doing her work really well, turning in everything on time. So she had both intrinsic and external motivation. So the external motivation was the praises that she received in the classroom as a whole from the teacher, from the paraprofessional, and she also received it from at home. She believed in having a notebook that she would get sent home to and from at home, and her mom would say how her day went at home after she came home or what she did for her homework, and then her dad sometimes would put a little note in there, and that would encourage her throughout the day. There will be times where you don't respond to negative behavior whatsoever. And that's because, say for instance, someone talked without raising their hand, and one of your classroom rules is to raise your hand. That's not a huge infraction, so that does not require a lot of attention to that behavior. Then there will be times the negative behavior needs immediate reaction, but it cannot be to the point where you are overreacting and it's taken out of context when it comes to a student that may have behavior problems overall. Negative behavior should be addressed in the manner that's already established in your rules. Therefore, it should be a set protocol. It should be simple. It should be fair. Should be equitable. All those things need to be taken into consideration when you discipline or react to negative behavior in the classroom. Make sure that the approach fits the school. So some schools believe in giving a written detention for any infraction, while other schools believe in timeouts or call to parents. So it's really important to understand what your school policy and or what your teacher's policy is when it comes to misbehaving or discipline. There can be some rewards for both for just being able to be in the classroom for a certain time. So, for instance, there could be an overall party that can be given. Just be careful when it comes to things that have to do with food because a lot of children now have allergies and they don't want to be excluded when it comes to bringing something in that they may not be able to eat. Not just that, but then there's candy. It's always been one of my favorites consumables when it comes to rewards in the classroom. But a lot of students may not have candy or may not be allowed to have candy outside of the household because of whatever type of restrictions they may have at their home. It's important to deal with inappropriate behavior head on. You do not want to sweep it under the rug. However, you may want to take that child aside if that is the most appropriate way to do so. Humiliating a child usually does not get very far when it comes to the classroom management. So you want to make sure that the child understands what they did, how their behavior manifested, and what way they can change that in the future. And also, when you want to make sure that a student understands how to manage their own behavior, you're not in control of that student. However, you want to make sure that the classroom, as a paraprofessional, you want to make sure that the classroom is in much control as possible. Chaos doesn't get anywhere in the learning environment. So you want to remember that you as a paraprofessional is you one of your roles is to make sure that order and discipline is maintained within the classroom under the umbrella of a teacher and the administration of the school.